1996. You understand? I mean, I remember the series that they lost when then Charles Smith got a shot blocked 5 times. The Horace Grants, the Jordans got blocked or stripped by Horace Grant, Jordan, Pippen, and all of them. I remember that. But what you got to remember is that the New York Knicks, at that time, Dave Checketts and Ernie Grunfeld and Ed Tapscott, they had us believing that the New York Knicks had a shot to win a championship if you could just knock off Michael Jordan. And the New York Knicks went up 2-0 in that series and had the Chicago Bulls on the ropes. Remember all of that. Remember all of that. Now we fast forward to this year. And let me tell you something right now. It's not far-fetched and it's not beyond the pale to compare the New York Knicks to those times when they were getting to the playoffs every single year, when Ewing and Anthony Mason and Charles Oakley and John Starks and the Derek Harpers of the world and others were on the basketball court, and they gave you a reason to believe. This is not far-fetched from that time. I am not engaging in hyperbole here. See, back then when the New York Knicks were title contenders and they went to the finals against Houston in 94 after Jordan retired, okay? Back then, the New York Knicks, that New York Knicks team, this team is comparable to that. You know why this team is comparable to that? Because 2 years ago, they were in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. And then you had Brunson and Josh Hurt and those boys getting hurt. Last year, they were in the conference finals. So what's the next step? It's the finals. What did I start out? What did your friendly neighborhood radio host, Stephen A. Smith, start out by telling y'all at the beginning of the season? That the New York Knicks are going to the NBA Finals. They're going to represent the East in the NBA Finals. Now, I am fully aware that the Detroit Pistons look incredibly formidable. And that Bickerstaff and those boys want New York badly. I'm fully aware of that. I'm fully aware that the New York Knicks got their work cut out for them. I'm fully aware of what the Detroit Pistons are bringing. I know my man Jalen Rose is somewhere talking about Detroit and what they going to do in Detroit and the Motor City and how the New York Knicks are going to get the rail. I'm fully aware of that. But the reality is, what did last night's NBA Cup mean? It means that it's justified to look at the New York Knicks as favorites to come out of the Eastern Conference and represent the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals. That's what the hell it means. Now, it doesn't always mean that. Lakers won it 2 years ago. They got bounced out in the first round of the postseason. Milwaukee won it last year. They got bounced out in the first round of the postseason when Tyrese Halliburton's daddy got in the face of Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is a mistake that he admitted, and he's a very nice man, so I'm not trying to be critical of him. I like Mr. Halliburton. I really, really do. And I respect the hell out of Tyrese and his capabilities. But let me be very, very clear. The New York Knicks are coming. Now, Tom Thibodeau was a hell of a coach, and I get that part. But the line of the year, the line of the 2024-2025 NBA season, if not the sports world, came from Kenny the Jet Smith on TNT at the time, before the Inside the NBA crew transferred over to ESPN. Kenny the Jet Smith said this quote about Tom Thibodeau, which is absolutely positively accurate. He'd have trouble playing 9 dudes in a baseball game. That's what he said. Now, keep in mind, you got to play 9. All right? You look at every position on the field: catcher, pitcher, first base, second base, shortstop, third base, left field, center field, right field. You got to play 9. And he said that Tom Thibodeau would have problems playing 9 dudes in a baseball game. Line of the year, because it's true. Mike Brown don't have that problem. New coach for the New York Knicks, he don't have that problem. When you look at Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench and this cat Kolek, I got to tell you something right now. I'm very happy with what I saw. Them brothers combined for 29 points, 24 in the second half last night. I saw Mitchell Robinson grab 15 rebounds last night and contribute with Karl Anthony Towns in keeping Victor Wembanyama and the rest of the crew off the boards. I saw Jalen Brunson win MVP, getting another 25-point game. I saw OG Anunoby drop 28, hit 5 of 10 from three-point range. I saw Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby hit three-point shots. Both of them are shooting over 40% from 3 this year. If that continues, the New York Knicks should be going to the finals. They should be going to the finals. Now, thank God they didn't go overboard by swearing up and down they're going to hang the banner in the rafters of Madison Square Garden. This ain't that kind of party. Lakers did it. Bucks did it. Don't need to be doing that if you're the New York Knicks. You know what we hungry for. You know what we want. You know what we starving for. You know what this is. This is about a championship. And when you consider the fact that Jason Tatum is down in Boston with an Achilles tear, that Damian Lillard is no longer in Milwaukee with Giannis Antetokounmpo after tearing his Achilles and ultimately being let go and ultimately returning to Portland, when you consider the fact that Tyrese Halliburton, the Knick killer over the last 2 years, is out with a torn Achilles himself, you got a chance. You got a chance, which is all we're asking for here. Now, to be fair, because I am a fair-minded individual, Victor Wembanyama, my condolences, heartfelt condolences to him and his family. He learned yesterday morning before the game that he had lost his grandmother. And so because of that, his heart was heavy. We understand that. And obviously that combined with a minutes restriction that he was playing under, he only played 20 minutes. In a playoff game, obviously he would play significantly more. We saw what this brother was doing. I mean, this brother is so special, Victor Wembanyama. Ladies and gentlemen, I've never seen anything like him. I mean, jab, step, pivot, pulling up for J's, pulling up for three-point shots, catching alley-oops like it's out of style off of inbounds plays and all of this other stuff. This brother is special. Special. And I think, and guess what? Stephon Castle is no joke either. Devin Vassell is no joke either. Dylan Harper, the rookie out of Rutgers, the son of Ron Harper, who was a champion with Michael Jordan and Chicago Bulls himself. This young brother is going to be special. He can play. And of course, De'Aaron Fox is a stud. No doubt about it. But when the New York Knicks showed you what they showed you last night, you do find yourself fantasizing. You do find yourself dreaming. You do find yourself thinking about, hey, wait a minute, what can they do? One of the things that really, really stood out in my mind when I was watching the New York Knicks last night, I loved it. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was the fourth quarter. And Jalen Brunson turned the ball over after being pressured by Castle to some degree. And Mike Brown immediately turned and went to his bench and brought Kolek in. But he didn't bring him in to replace Jalen Brunson. He brought him in to have an additional ball handler, to be able to deal with the pressure. And the kid did just fine. And so when I look at it from that standpoint, and I think about a Karl Anthony Towns, and I think about a Mitchell Robinson, whose job is to rebound and defend and block shots. When I think about him and how formidable he is as a defensive presence and what he brings to the table. When I think about Josh Hart, the Energizer Bunny, I think about the combination of him, Mikal Bridges, and OG Anunoby looking like cardiac kids. And then you got a superstar like Brunson, because statistically, in terms of his production and the way he performs, he might not have a superstar personality, but he's got a superstar game in terms of production. I'll tell you that much. Look at what we're looking at when we're talking about the New York Knicks. We're talking NBA right now. And don't tell me that the New York Knicks should not have a legitimate shot and be seen as one of the top two teams to come out of the Eastern Conference. To come out of the Eastern Conference and be able to deliver you a conference championship. I'm saying the reason I'm stopping short of that is because I don't give a damn what anybody says. And I don't care what happened in the cup, the Emirates NBA Cup competition semifinals over the weekend. I can't see anybody, if I'm being totally honest, I can't see anybody beating the Oklahoma City Thunder. They were 24-1 coming into the damn game, winners of 16 straight. Shai Gilgeous playing like the superstar that he is. The reigning champion, the reigning league MVP, the reigning NBA Finals MVP. The brother ain't miss a beat. Jalen Williams just came back a few games ago. He ain't miss a beat. Chet Holmgren and Hartenstein, we know what they bring to the table. Caruso and others, we see what they bring to the table. I'm just telling you, Oklahoma City is complete. You ain't going to win every game in the NBA. I could see them, however, winning 73 games and tying, if not eclipsing, the all-time record of regular season wins. Because I think they're that deep. I think they can shut you down anytime they want to. I think that what they've got size, they've got athleticism, they've got defensive prowess, they've got perimeter shooting, they've got ball handling, and they got a superstar and a closer in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I can't pick a New York Knicks team to beat that team. I can't pick anybody to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. Even though a team like Denver and Houston to a lesser degree should be able to give you a run for your money. I would have loved to see a Houston team with Fred VanVleet healthy. Then I would have said some things. And then with Denver, I'm still not ruling out Jokic and Murray because they went out and they got a bench this year. Whether or not they're going to really, really miss Michael Porter Jr. remains to be seen. But with Aaron Gordon, with those two aforementioned that I just mentioned, with reacquiring Bruce Brown and others, I can't sleep on Denver either. But there's just no question that Oklahoma City is the class of the NBA. So I got to look at it from that standpoint and say, hey, can't see nobody beating them. But I could see the Knicks meeting them for the NBA Finals. Meeting. Not beating, but meeting them. And if somebody like San Antonio or Denver was fortunate enough to knock off Oklahoma City, then the Knicks could win the championship. Knicks could win the chip. Orange and blue skies, baby. Knicks could win the chip. That's right, I'm saying it. So that's how I'm looking at it. That's where my enthusiasm comes from. And that's what I want y'all to think about. Number to call up as always is 888 Mad Dog.